All right, welcome out, everyone. This is our weekly mastermind. This is Rod Richardson. A lot of our leaders are at Orlando or Florida leadership event today. And let's see, it looks like we have a few of our leaders with us today. And so the topic that we wanted to cover today is about the significance of events. And when I look back and I think of times that people really made a deeper commitment to the business, it usually had to do or was in direct relationship to an event. I noticed that when you go to a major event and you listen to some of the Blue Diamonds and Presidential Diamonds and their husbands talk, for example, oftentimes you'll find that it was an event that was the pivotal moment for them. My fifth line leader, for example, I stopped by their house and started talking to them about the oils, and they showed some interest. But when I asked them to join, they were ready to do it the next day, and then I didn't hear from them for about a year. Then when they came back around, they were ready to go. And so I extended the invitation. At that time, there was a regional, like a south or a west coast or an east coast event that was going on. I think it was the west coast one. And I invited both of them to attend, and it turned out that the wife could not attend, but her husband could. And so he went with me to that event, and then he got on the phone with her and said, I see a vision of you at an event like this. And so it was his confidence that was built during that event that he projected forward, and of course that really moved her to make a decision to begin moving forward. And so I'm going to open it up to the mastermind. The question: what events have you attended that were really impactful, and what about the event moved you? You can press *5* to raise your hand. And we have a relatively small call today, so if you're having a thought right now, then that is your impression. Melissa Guthrie, go ahead.
Hey, Rod, thank you so much. And this is one of my favorite topics because events have been so pivotal in so many areas of my business growth and business development, even prior to doTERRA. When I first started in network marketing as a young 20-something-year-old who had no background in network marketing, no background in business, had no clue what I was doing, and I asked the individuals in that company, I said, well, what do I have to do to succeed? Like, I was hungry for success. What do I have to do? And they said, just keep showing up and be at every single event. I'm like, that's it? That's what I have to do to be successful? I'm like, okay. And so I went to, I was at a point where I would literally, if what it took was to crawl across broken glass for, 50 miles to get to the event, like I probably would have done that. Like, that's just how important events were to me, because they are so impactful. Being able to be in the presence of the leaders, the achievers, the people who are having the results that, I'm striving to have, to be in their energy space, to learn from them, to, be able to even just almost eavesdrop on their conversations. Like, there can be huge value that comes from just little things like that. And then, of course, the content of what is being presented at the event is hugely impactful, oftentimes can shorten our learning curve months and even years. And so, I've found that when I go to an event with an intention, I will gain value from that. So, I could look at probably any event that I've gone to, and I've been able to leave with something of value, something that I was able to take to up level, or just a new level of awareness, or something that I could apply in my life or my business. Now, when it comes to doTERRA itself, it's funny because as soon as you said, what events did you attend that was like really impactful for you? The first one that popped into my head was actually an event that you kind of set up for me. And it was when I was just brand new. I don't even think I had gotten started in the business. You were fairly new to the business, and you had invited me to join the business with you and Jennifer, and there was kind of a little meeting going on at corporate. And I remember meeting with the founders. It was like Emily Wright and Rob Young, and I don't know, it might have been Dave Sterling, but we were in this little tiny conference room in the old, the original doTERRA building. There was a couple of other builders there. I think maybe Laura Jacobs was there, and you had, I was there. I think Seth was there as well. And it was this really intimate, just kind of a conversation to get to know, like, who are these leaders? What is doTERRA all about? And as they were sharing a little bit of their story and their vision, and I was able to see the heart of who these people were, because that was really important to me. I had been involved in companies in the past where the founders were not of the highest integrity, and I wanted to know that if I was going to join this business, these individuals were going to be people of integrity, and that this company wasn't going to go away, and that it was in alignment with my values and my standards. And so being in that little event that was not even a formal event was really impactful for me. And that was one of several events that helped me to know that, yes, doTERRA is the right fit for me. This is where I want to hang my hat, and this is going to be the rest of my life. I'm not going to go searching for another network marketing company. doTERRA is it. And so that's what I had to share.
Oh, that's awesome. I forgot about that. I forgot about that meeting, but that was looking at it today, that was like a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity. And I remember that meeting, and it's funny now to think that us and all of our initial builders, we had Tanya there. I think we had all of our frontline leaders there, and it was a personal meeting with the founders of doTERRA. Now, I think you could probably get that to happen again. But that was pretty amazing, and I think you made some important points there, especially when people are thinking about, how come my team isn't very committed, or how come people aren't really passionate about what's going on, and you made some really important points about how that little event, what I did as a leader is I got my leaders together and I got them exposed to corporate, right, which is what happened there. But that answered some of the fundamental questions that you had. Does this company have integrity? Does it have a future? Does it, is it something you can throw your weight behind? And, the other event that I invited you to, Melissa, and I think it was the very first one, wasn't actually a physical event, but it was a webinar with Dr. Hill. And I remember that was the day that you actually decided that doTERRA was aligned with your personal vision and mission.
Yeah.
And so that's it's kind of interesting how these events are really the key. And I think sometimes we've gotten so into the class model that sometimes we use that model and overlook the power of creating events, or we pull our focus back from the idea of creating specific events that can draw people in and really harness as much power as possible. Whether it's the highest rank holders or the leaders in the area, the biggest income earners you have on the team, or getting people exposed to doTERRA. Like yesterday, I had some junior high school kids that were job shadowing me, and so I took them on to doTERRA, and we set up a tour. And interestingly enough, they thought the most powerful part of their day, or the most impressionable part of their day, was their tour of doTERRA's bottling facility and looking at the giant 80,000 bottle vats of oil that were sitting in the warehouse, and walking by the labs and seeing all the testing facilities and just the sheer magnitude of the shipping and bottling and all that cool stuff. I thought they would like the executive offices more, but they liked looking at all the oil come in and get packaged. But all these things are events. Now, Melissa, there's one other event, because this is recent, you shared with me, and I don't know if you want to share with the call or not, but you had a breakthrough on this last major corporate event that you went to, the incentive trip. Is there anything there that you'd be willing to share?
Yeah. Oh, yes. So incentive trips, I think, a lot of people, I think they think that the incentive trips are only for people that earn their way there, only for the top enrollers that earn a spot. And obviously that's part of the reason that they do the incentive trip. But they also do open it up for anybody in doTERRA that wants to go. And even people who aren't in doTERRA yet can go on the trip. You just have to pay whatever the, cost of the trip is. And I will tell you that it is worth I encourage people to save your money. Start saving right now so that, in the event you don't earn it or you don't earn the entire thing, you've got that money set aside to make that trip. Because what's so awesome about the incentive trips is obviously you get to go somewhere amazing. We've been to Jamaica, we've been to, we just got back from Cancun, we've been to Tulum, they've done some cruises. So they always go to, make it a special event. But the other thing that's so awesome about it is, you're not going to these places and then sitting in a conference room all day being, taught business training or product training. You're going there to really build relationships. One, to celebrate your life, to celebrate your lifestyle, the abundance that doTERRA brings into our lives, to again, build relationships with other members of doTERRA. And they do, it's just fun. It's just fun. But I've had some really awesome experiences, not only on this trip, but also on some of the previous incentive trips that I've gone on. I remember in Jamaica going on an excursion, and all of the founders and their spouses happened to be on that same excursion. And so they happened to all be sitting right where we were sitting on the tour bus. And so, we're just having a fun time getting to know Dave Sterling and his wife, and Dr. Hill and his wife, and, the Lindleys. And we just had so much fun driving on this bus together, getting to know each other on a personal level. We're talking about family. We're talking about, other places we've traveled to, and laughing and joking. And then we got on river tubes and we tubed down our river together, and they were splashing water on each other. And you just get to see the personalities of the founders, and you get to see how they treat their spouses. And it's just so fun to be able to see that side of them rather than see them, on stage like we often do at conventions. So that's one of the cool things that can be really awesome. And then, like when you show up at an event, they know you and they call you by name. That's the other thing, is they remember you. And that's super fun. But the other powerful thing that happens at events like specifically the incentive trip is there's informal opportunities to network and to learn from the presidential diamonds, the triple diamonds, the blue diamonds, and all of these people that are very high achievers within doTERRA. And they give you opportunities to do what are called fireside chats. So I had the opportunity to attend a fireside chat with Haley Hobson and learn some really powerful, tips and best practices that she uses in her business. And I sat there as she was talking for about 20 minutes, and I was feverishly taking notes on my cell phone, and it was awesome. And I made, friends with some new people there. And then we were going on an excursion, and I was surrounded by a blue diamond, a presidential diamond, and a diamond. And again, we were talking about best practices, and some things that were shared was like this huge light bulb went off in my head about my business, where I was at, where I was headed, and what that could mean for me and my team. And these type of conversations are, not ones that you necessarily get to have very often. And it's about being in the right place at the right time. And, it was interesting because I set that intention as I went to Cancun. I said, I made a list of intentions for that trip. And one of them was, I intend to be in the right place at the right time at every moment. And it was amazing how it just seemed that at every turn I took, I was in the right place at the right time to meet the right person, to have the right conversation, to move me forward, or to bless someone else's life. It was just magical. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Thanks for that, Melissa. Let's see. Let's go to Molly H. I'm assuming that's Molly Harmison. Is that correct?
Yep, that's me. Hi.
Awesome.
I don't know, how do you top that? That's so cool. I love hearing Melissa talk every time she does. For me, one of the things that I just wanted to add is I think events are crucial because they keep you connected. A lot of my team members are all spread all over, the nation. We don't have all of us in one spot, and so our events, even when it's just our little online trainings every month, those things are crucial to keeping us feeling connected when we are all building the business, not right here by each other. And so I think it's absolutely a number one. And I think my teammates would feel the same. I also do, though, as far as doTERRA goes, one of my most favorite things about attending events with doTERRA and specifically with convention is I guess there's two parts. I'll say this one first. I remember, I think this was you that told us this, Rod, that with every person you take to convention with you, with every leader, you can expect your team to grow at least 10 times of that leader and with people in your organization. And I remember that was one of the years where that itself motivated me to go to convention because I'm like, I want to grow my team. And if he says that, I'm going to do it. And that really was true, by the way. That really was true. But another thing that just is I'm so grateful for specifically about doTERRA's convention is how they are so open with us about what they are doing to further their mission, all of our mission with doTERRA. They're so open about all the things they do behind the scenes, all the things they do right in front of our faces. And it wasn't until I attended convention that I really gained a better understanding for things like the co-impact sourcing and all of these things that we don't cover as much because we're always dealing with people on the most basic level. We talk a little bit about it, but at convention is where you really get to learn so much about what this company is about. And one of my leaders that attended convention last year, that was her number one reason. She was wanting to build the business, but also just kind of doing it, not really in with it. And then after attending convention, she said that's what made her want to build the business, is when she saw what the company stood for and what they were about, and just couldn't deny that it was the best company to work for with everything that they do, not just for us as the people building the business, but for their growers, for everyone, and how committed they are to more than just the oils, to helping people get out of debt, helping people in our country as well as all over the world. It puts building the business of doTERRA on a whole nother level for people. It expands it from what you do here in your home and community to what you are a part of and what's being done all over the world.
That's about building your belief and connecting yourself to your team. Those 2 points that you made, I give you an amen to that. I remember stepping into a convention and watching the first morning session, and I remember any little doubt that I had about the product or about the company, or about where we were headed, or anything like that was erased. And sometimes when we're out by ourselves or whatever, we hear negative things, or we feel negative, or different things like that, or we're not certain about the oils, or we worried that maybe the company is not telling us the truth about the purity, or do we have enough sourcing, or do oils really work scientifically? There's all these little things that creep in from fishing around on the internet or whatever we do. But when you spend any time around the fire of the company, all of those doubts are erased, and you see the science, you see the research that's going on, you see the sourcing people, you get to feel the company's presence, and then the part about connecting is really, really true. A lot of us might be part of teams that are might be a little band of rebels out in the middle of nowhere. and when you get to come to the major events, you also get a reinforcement that yes, people are making big things happen, and they're and when you go diamond, by the time you get to diamond, your team is probably global by that point. I was trying to think. I think by the time I was diamond, I had teams in most states, in 2 or 3 other countries. But now as almost being nearly presidential diamond, I have teams in 30 foreign countries in every state, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing how that goes. And the only way, really, for me to connect with everyone is through the doTERRA events. And for me, it's like family reunions. And in fact, as a team, as Edge Team International, we're going to start emphasizing and providing formats for greater event connection. And so I just got a text a little bit before the call on the dates for next year's leadership, for example. And if you have a pen, you can get the inside scoop, because I'm sure this hasn't been announced anywhere yet. But Orlando leadership is going to be March 13th through the 15th. And Long Beach next year will be the 26th through the 28th of March. And so when you're the reason I give you those dates now is because as Edge, we're going to have a leadership event the day after both of those events next year. So we initiated the search for space today, And so I want to make sure that if you're on the call and you're planning to qualify as a silver for next year's leadership, which I highly encourage you to do. If you're on this call, there isn't any reason why you can't be at least silver by the next qualification for leadership. Then you'll want to plan the extra day so that you can hang out with the team and be part of our Edge leadership. So thanks, Molly. Now the other thing that's happening, and I've mentioned this before, is Edge team is having their Diamond Retreat in Montana in July. And so that's another thing that you can look forward to. If you're wondering, okay, I mean, doTERRA has great incentives for you to be Diamond as well. There's Diamond Day before leadership. Those are, and then of course, once you become Diamond, you get special seating. You get little love packages from the company. I mean, there's a lot of cool reasons to be Diamond. And the other super cool reason is you get to join with the Edge Diamonds on the Edge Diamond Retreat in July. And that's another event we've become committed to. And also, the 2 days before convention, we have the Edge Global Conference, which is an opportunity for the whole team and others that follow along with us to join together as well. So we're putting huge energy behind events as a way to really bring people together and really bring the fire to your business and passion. So that's awesome, Molly. You are awesome.
Well, thank you, and I am so excited. I'm like jumping up and down with all of this that you're saying. So that's going to be huge. I love the Edges taking on those things. Thank you, Rod.
All right. Let's see. We have a mysterious caller. This is area code 480, last four numbers 4194. What is your name?
This is Jamie Love, and I'm part of your organization. I moved from Indiana and moved out to Arizona just recently.
Awesome.
So I miss you, Rod. I'm going to have to see you soon. I don't know where, but we'll figure it out, right?
I'm headed to California Leadership is the next major event to get to.
Okay, cool. I'll have to head over there. But I will say that for me, the event last year was my first time I'd gone to convention, and I was an executive, so I just haven't really done a whole lot. And I feel like after I went to the event, and for one thing, I got to go to the gala, and that was huge to be able to see everyone walking across the stage, dancing, and be like, yes, we did it, because you know how much work that goes into that. And it's just so cool to see everybody dressed up and excited and happy. And for me, it was just like, wow, like you said, it's like a family reunion. And I got to see so many people there that I know that are like rooting me on, like, you can do this, you can make it happen. And so, yeah, I guess for me, it was more about the connection for sure, and then also learning about what the company stands for and the integrity they have, and seeing the farmers and just seeing their passion for what they're doing and knowing that they're getting the support that they need to be able to do things in integrity with their farms. So for me, it was a huge event and life-altering, and made me totally committed. And I had just moved to Arizona, and I'm happy to say that this last month I just went Premier, so I'm so excited that moving forward. And I have to be silver. I have to cross stage before next convention. That's my goal. That's what I told myself. But no matter what, I will make it happen.
Oh, Jamie, you're an inspiration. By the way, have you make sure you reach out to Nikki Shorts and Melissa Guthrie and Norma Strain, who all are leaders that have teams there in Arizona.
Okay, great. I will.
And here's another thing, Jamie, and other ears on the call. The other super cool team event that we're putting together is we will have our own recognition dinner, and that will be Friday of the convention.
Okay.
And that we're going to have a red carpet, and so silvers and above will be able to walk the red carpet as our team recognition event. that's another area that we're putting a heavy commitment behind, to bring that recognition and celebration together as well. So you will actually get to dance that carpet, Jamie.
Awesome! I'm excited. Yay! That's so fun. I'm so excited. Well, I'll bring my red dress then.
Right. Well, and as part of it, just as a teaser for everyone, we plan on having our 1,000 Diamond photo banner behind, so when you walk the carpet, you can declare yourself as one of the 1,000 Diamonds.
Yes, that's awesome. Very cool. I'm so excited. I can't wait for convention. I've already got it on my calendar, and I'm ready to go, and I want to bring as many people with me as I possibly can, because as we've been talking on this call, it's so huge, because I know that when people come, and I was able to bring one other person in my group, and she's doing great. So what would it take for more of my builders to show up? I'm excited.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. All right, let us go to Joey Hodges. Are you there, Joey?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Rod. Appreciate the time and effort in all the calls. Thank you so much. I was just kind of reflecting on what Melissa had said about the energy of events, especially convention. And, I mean, that we talk about duplication, but that is not duplicatable. We come home, we talk about it, we try to bring that same energy to our teams, and hopefully in some ways we can convey how awesome it is so that they will come too. But there is something about being there, and all of the things that I portray to my team and to some of my customers are all things that I've learned at convention. Like I tell people all the time, doTERRA is just like this diamond. It has so many different facets, and I think I love doTERRA so much, and I can't love them anymore. And then someone gets on stage and says something, just like Melissa said about, we want to be known as the company that gets the most people out of debt. Man, that really pricked my heart. And then to be in the event center one year and have Dr. Hill come out and start talking about the science of the oils, and to see a tear trickle down his face. I mean, those are just things that you can't convey to people without them being there, and just the energy of being at events. And even the little events we had in Mattawa when you and Seth would come to Washington more frequently, I share some of the things that you and Seth shared with us there to help build my team. So I appreciate the call about events, and those are just some of the things that have stuck out on my mind. And thank you.
Joey, you bring up an excellent point as well, and that is that there's the big corporate events which are difficult to duplicate. Because that's the founders and the oils and the videos and the billion-dollar company. That's the big thing. And you made a really important point. You said that we held a local event when Seth and I would come, and it was powerful too. And
yeah, I remember you saying how many people in this room are doing this as a business. And of course, it was a business meeting, so we all raised our hands. And then you said, how many people in this room will continue to use the oils, whether you choose to continue building the business or not? And every single hand in the room went up. I cannot tell you how many times I have shared that with people when I have been telling them in classes, people just learning about the oils, just because it shows the integrity of the company and the product. So, yeah, the little events can be just as powerful, for sure.
Right. And that means so that, especially if you have a diamond upline or even a group of golds and silvers, it's still possible to combine your energies and create special events around your areas, even if they're small or intimate, and maybe they're in a home, or maybe you get together and really put some energy behind it and really showcase the power of the product. But there's just so many cool things that can be done to really harness the power of events. And so thanks, Joey, for bringing that up, that even having your leaders come in for a little special event is very powerful as well.
And hey, Rod, before I get off, can you just, I didn't have my pen with me, can you repeat those dates that you said for leadership for next year?
Yes, I can. Let's see. That would be Orlando is March 13th through the 15th. Long Beach is the 26th through the 28th. And then the Edge Day will be the day after, so that would be like the 16th and the 29th.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. And thanks again for the calls. They're awesome. I've been working on listening to them. These calls are events too, and they're just as important, which has been said over and over and over again. But until you really set your heart on them and make an effort to be there, they are life-changing, and they help your business so much. So thank you.
Well, I know almost every single call that I'm on, these masterminds, I'm emotionally moved. Almost, and in fact, I can't even think of a call where I wasn't.
I agree with that for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so be sure if you got people that are building a business on your teams, make sure that this call is becoming a priority because the numbers are not reflecting. We do have a really good attendance on the calls, but the numbers are not reflecting the size of the team, and so that's a reflection because it's not being promoted as a priority, and so just think about that. This is another powerful moment that can be harnessed to help rising leaders become more committed to the business and also to keep yourself highly engaged because building the business is kind of an emotional roller coaster in some instances, and doubts can flood in, and you can become discouraged real easily, and you can come to a place like this and be most of the people that speak on the call are high income earners, and so you can reinstill that belief and even have the opportunity to have voice. So this is an important place to be. So thanks for bringing that up, Joey. Let's move to Kathy Baker.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Right. Hey.
Hey, how goes it?
It goes awesome.
Good. So my first little event story is actually one where I heard Rod Richardson was going to be the speaker, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, babe. I literally told my husband, babe, so I don't know Rod, but everybody tells me Rod's up there and he's amazing and I have to go listen to this guy named Rod Richardson. And he's like, okay. So I rode up to Boise to where there was a regional training with Janet and Bernie Marquez, and we went and we watched you present. And I was like, wow, like you were celebrity to me at that point. And I was like, I am in the same room with this guy. And then I met David Ellis, and some other people. And I'm like, these people are so powerful, I can't believe I'm in the same room with them. This was available for me to be in the same room. And so I felt so honored, and you taught, the 3-door method, and I was up there and I got to participate. Everybody gets to participate at events, and I love that. And then afterwards, I actually got to go to dinner with you. And after I got over my starstruck, okay, it was you were like a normal guy. You ordered steak and shrimp, and you're like, yes, this is how I want it. And then you even talked about the money you had, the finances, a wedding, and you didn't even notice, and how you had to eventually to where you're at the point you were having to invest in charities or places to put your money. And I was sitting there at first kind of wow, one, you've got a lot of money, but two, looking at you because you were not saying it in a gaudy form or look at all this dollar bills I'm throwing everywhere. You made a point to say, I like to talk about this so you see it's the normal reality. And that blew my mind because then I saw you could still be normal. You could still be this human being, but having this money gives you powers and abilities in other ways that you couldn't, not having a job or getting minimum wage or things like that. And that was a big eye-opener for me because I was like, one, this guy who is amazing, who is phenomenal at teaching, who works in this business, he's normal. Two, he's talking to me, he's actually talking to me and joking and laughing and telling me about his life. And then, three, he gives back because he wants to and he can. And that encourages people to be right up there at the top with him.
And it blew my mind. And so I was like, you were like this, oh, celebrity. Oh, you're so real. Oh, I can be with him. Yes. Like, yes, that was just powerful to me that you were just so personable. And then I see that that's kind of how this company is. Like, being at convention, I've only listened to Dr. Hill. And I haven't actually ever seen him in person. I've seen like one picture on YouTube or something. And I was in the elevator with Tennille Houston. And I could tell this guy was important. He got in the elevator with us to go up. He had like a little bodyguard and like a person telling him where to go. No idea, no name tag, just a fancy suit. And he's just talking to us. Like, he's like joking around at our rival schools because he grew up in the area and stuff like this. I'm like, this guy's so funny. Like, he's so cool. Just relaxed, calm, collected, but personable. And then he gets off and Tennille's like, oh my gosh, that was Dr. Hill. And I was like instantly sweaty, like I was standing next to Dr. Hill. You know, and that's what I love is these people that are celebrities in our eyes. You guys still take the time for us that are still growing. And then, of course, convention. Everybody has mentioned convention. It's moving. Like, I literally went to convention with the thought, yes, I am working to be silver. I am working to be silver. That would be so big. After watching convention and having, like, a literally midnight parking lot conversation with David Ellis, I left there with a determination. Sorry, it makes me emotional because it was so amazing. But I left there with a determination that I will at least be diamond. Like, diamond now is my minimal goal. And the fact that I know I can do it because I have leaders like you who are telling me I can do it, and leaders that share your information how to do it is phenomenal. So these events light the fire underneath you like a blowtorch. It's not like a little lighter you're flicking trying to get a little flame. It's like a blowtorch under your butt. Like, here you go. Like, if you want it, you are capable of doing it. So get out and do it. And and things aren't going as fast. You know, I've had really slow months. All these other things, but I've never lost that inside me of like, well, maybe diamond isn't possible. No, like, I know without a doubt, like, I will be diamond someday. It may not be this year, next year, or in 3 years, but I know because doTERRA is so amazing and because of the leaders that we have that continually put on these events that show us and teach us and help us and connect with us, that I can do it. And then seeing the bigger things like they talked about with the co-impact sourcing. And then one that really, really moved me was Tim Ballard and the One. Just how doTERRA has really reached into, ONE, or OUR, and really got in with Operation Underground Railroad and their donations and their passion and being part of the healing and the rescuing. And then an event that Kristen and them got put on to where I was able to once again see Tim Ballard. And then you and Seth showed up. And then it was like this big circle of amazing, powerful men and people with, once again, a bigger purpose, bigger than ourselves, that we got to be a part of. And those just continue to blow my mind that a huge event, it can then be translated to a small event and still have that major impact that yes, I'm an individual, but I am part of an organization. I am part of a team. I am part of a family whose purpose is to literally live, to magnify, heal, empower, like, the world, the nation. And I'm like, oh, heck yes. Like, I will never leave this. I will be one of the top leaders one day, and I will be throwing these events with these big people and inspiring people in my little shoes, and continuing to teach them. So thank you for being part of regional trainings where first people like me get to meet you and be inspired and have our eyes open and light bulb moments, and then big events that light that blowtorch underneath us and make us realize our own value and abilities. And then continuing with calls like these that relight that excitement of reliving those times. So those are my little events.
Wow. Okay. Wow. My hair is all posted backwards now and is on fire. fire.
Feel.
You shot the blowtorch out.
Good.
That is awesome. So Kathy, here's the thing. You are absolutely correct that you can be diamond, and anyone else listening to this call, because there's basically three elements that you have to remember that separate the diamonds from everyone else. And these three C's, the first one is commitment, because there isn't any journey that's ever taken without being committed. Like I'm teaching my daughter how to drive, and when she pulls out into the road, I keep telling her, now you have to be committed. And then we pull up to the road, and then she kind of weasel the car out there at about half a mile an hour, and I kind of yell at her, not yell, but speak, commit, and then she'd step on the gas and get the car out, because there isn't any journey that people build the fortitude for without commitment. Now the second element is competence. And so competence means that, leading, this is a profession, just like many other professions, and it has certain required skill sets. And competency is learned. In other words, commitment and competency are in your full control. And these are the two major elements that move people forward to diamond. And this is also an emphasis as to why events are so incredibly powerful, because at events we feel the fire that instills commitment, and we learn, and by our associations with others and associations with people that are succeeding in a big way, we learn the competency. But sometimes we get frustrated because we're not willing to learn the competency, and then we fall back into self-doubt. And so remember, those two first C's are very important, and they drive deeply back into the power events, and that is commitment and competence. Now, the third one, and you had mentioned this as well, Kathy, and that is cause. And so if you're thinking about it, what do I need to be diamond? I need to have commitment, I need to have competence, and I need to have cause. Now, you had mentioned it in the form of philanthropy, and the way that we were having that conversation about money. And so, guys, I just got to share this with you, because all of this hardship has a destination, and that destination is purpose. And so this last week, I went up to an event called the Choice Innovation Symposium, and when I went there, I was right in the middle of the billionaire world. And what was happening is the destination of where people that have network and skills and capital assemble. And we were learning some fascinating things about how nonprofit organizations can distribute and invest funds. We learned about the types and the scale and the scope of projects that are happening. These are worldwide efforts that are alleviating some of the greatest concerns that exist to humanity, like poverty. But this one specifically was about eradicating poverty globally. And who has those conversations? It's the millionaires and billionaires that have those conversations. That's where they are, and that's what they're focused on, because it is the cause, it is the reason for developing a huge network, huge skills, and huge capital. And so if you're thinking about it, when a lot of times you'll give up on the quest to become diamond if that quest is only for you and your needs. In other words, there'll come a point where you're making enough money, and you'll say to yourself, "Oh, what's the point? I'm comfortable," and you'll kind of waller around in that area of just good enough. And so this is why cause becomes so critical. We have to understand that all of you on this call, becoming great is not something that can be compromised, because the needs of the world are so great. They are so great. You have to be great. It is not optional for you to be mediocre and sit on your talents. It is not acceptable, because of the world. You have to understand that the poverty of the world in the United States, I saw this represented on a video the other day in terms of gumballs. And if the United States and all of its wealth and all of the power of money and economy and all this kind of thing, all that represented is just a small fragment, because there's billions and billions of people that don't have hardly anything. In fact, there's 2 billion people on the planet that make less than $1.95 a day. And so on this call right now, just to give you an example, on this call right now are 88 people. And we're sitting here today because we're sucking up the principles of leadership. And in order for us to have an impact on that number, us 88 people on this call, in order for us to have an impact on 2 billion people, I myself cannot do it alone. Kathy herself cannot do it alone. Melissa herself cannot do it alone. David Ellis himself cannot do it alone. We need you. And the world needs your skill. We need your talent. We need you to share the message. We need you to get oils into the homes. We need your money. We need you to become rich, because it will reflect, your wealth will reflect the level of skill and impact and influence that you're building. And if you get to that space, then you can join me at the Choice Innovation Symposium, and you and your teams and your commissions can make a powerful impact, and we can participate in a big way. Matter of fact, when we met with Tim Ballard for Operation Underground Railroad, the reason it's so significant that he can meet with us is because our team has 52,000 people in every U.S. state and 30 foreign countries. That was built by this leadership. And because of that, we can make a single phone call, and within an evening, we can have hundreds and thousands of people assembled. That is why you have to go diamond. There isn't any excuses for any of you. The demand is there. The quest is out in front of you. The cause is enormous, and it demands everyone. Woo! Thanks, Kathy. You lit me on fire.
Anytime, Rod. Anytime.
All right, let's go to Holly Orgill. Are you there, Holly?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I had to unmute a few things. That was awesome. I don't know if I can top that. Seriously, both of you. Woo! That was great. What I wanted to add, events. So I remember getting on the call, getting on the Mastermind for the very first time, and it was Janet Marquez. She was, that was back in the day when you interviewed people after they had reached rank, and she had just reached platinum, I think. And I had no idea who Janet was at the time, but she was in a similar situation as I am. Both of her husbands are police officers. I think Bernie had just stopped working. Anyways, I remember bawling. Like, I was listening to this phone call, and I was like, did Seth set this up? Like, did he know that, like, this was going to, like, she was going to be talking, and it would be my situation, and, like, but it was just so, like, God-inspired, really, because I needed to hear her testimony of, like, I can do this, similar situation, you can get out of it. Then fast forward, let's see, I started in January. So this is like 2 or 3 months later. I went to the regional retreat that Courtney put on and that her leaders put on up in Jerome. And then I got to meet her, and it was like, again, like I talked to her and like instant, like flow of tears. And so it was, again, like all at these events. Then fast forward to leadership that next year, I told my husband, I said, who had been pretty negative about doTERRA and was not very supportive. And I said, honey, if I reach silver, will you come with me to leadership retreat? And he said yes. And I was like, ha, ha, ha. That was like my motivation then, you know. And I reached silver and gold that month, and we went to leadership together. And I remember, this is so funny, like we were sitting at it was a diamond mine retreat. And they asked us to write like what our long-term goal was with doTERRA. And he's like, this is after like we had been to the Edge training, and then it was a diamond mine, and then it was leadership retreat. And I like look over at his paper, and he's writing down like presidential diamond. And I was like, what the heck? Like, where did that come from? You know? Anyways, not that has continued for him personally, but it has, I mean, it wouldn't have happened. It would have never have happened, like, had he not been at that event, to see that these are good people, that doTERRA is, you know, really solid and awesome values, and learn from the founders, and then even to see that normal people, not just normal people, but like people can make it to presidential. You don't have to have a business background and lots of crazy things to be able to make it. And so events they're crucial. If you can't get to an event, or if you can't get your people to an event, your organization doesn't grow. Because I feel like it's like a grandparent as opposed to the parent. Like parents are like, oh, like as you're growing up, you don't really want to listen to it. But if it's a grandparent or it's a teacher, it's an outside source, and they're like teaching you all these things, they're like jumping on board. That's what it is, taking someone to an event. They're hearing someone else's journey, that it's a bigger picture, different perspective, that it can happen, that their, you know, hopes and dreams and goals can be fulfilled too.
That is awesome, Holly. You made a very powerful point. And that point is, if you can't get yourself and your team to events, then your team won't grow. Mm-hmm. I think that's just such an amazing, powerful statement to make. All right. Oh, the beautiful Jennifer Richardson has walked into the room. All right. Delora Allen, close us out. Delora.
Hello? Oh, hello.
There you are. This is your moment, Delora. You are the
Oh, my
keystone.
goodness. I don't know about that. It's been so wonderful. Everybody's had so much good to share. I actually raised my hand at the very beginning. But I just wanted to share. I was kind of trying to figure out, like I know many of us do, how to create a team, how to create unity within my team. And it's amazing how when you ask the question, things show up. And when you have that intention, things just happen. So we were able to, I was able to get a number of my team leaders to convention last year. And we ended up sharing a house. And I have to say that those times that we have shared together, just away from the event, and just that time to just sit and visit and connect and share our experiences and our growth and the things that are happening for us, and the struggles that we have and how we're overcoming and we're growing. And then after that event, my team is spread out, and so I had the inspiration to invite them to an event here so that they could interact with my leaders. So Seth was putting on the monthly trainings here in Utah. So I'm like, how do I get my leaders to my team? And it's like, well,
the impression came, bring your team to your leaders. And so I put the invite out, and I was so grateful that my team said, yeah, we'd love to come. So I again lined up that we rented a house, and we all stayed together, and we called it our Jumpstart Retreat. And again, it was, we came to the training with Seth, and then you came and shared, and we just sat and had lunch together, and we just talked, and Seth shared the inspiration that he got, again, from Tim Ballard being at his event, and that sparked an inspiration for one of my team leaders to share at her class that hope oil is and what it's doing, and how if we each put that on our order, that how that would help to support this great cause, And so all the little things that we talked about throughout the call today, those all happen when you're together. And, if you can't, it just reminded me, if you can't get your team to an event, create an event and invite them. And my goal too was to make it worth their while. I had people come in, 8-10 hour drive away and showing up, and it was like, you have that nervous time. It was like, is this really going to be of worth? And again, the intention was out there, and they showed up, and it's so powerful how we love and support. Again, it just comes down to those relationships and loving and supporting one another, and it continues on. We have a group that we do calls together, and we stay connected, and one team has taken on that they're creating a retreat, or we're doing another retreat, and they're inviting everybody to their area to come and share in their home area. And so it continues, and such a blessing of that unity, the love, and the togetherness, and all those needs that we talked about are met again in those events. So thank you.
That's awesome. Laura, you're a great and powerful leader.
Thank you. As are you. I've learned from the best.
And your point was awesome. Hopefully everyone got a note on that, which is if you don't have an event to go to, create one. And that is just awesome wisdom to end the call on. All right, we appreciate everybody. We wish you all a very happy and successful week.